Hi everyone, what's up and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing the latest movie to hit Apple TV+, The Tragedy of Macbeth. A Scottish lord becomes convinced by a trio of witches that he will become the next king of Scotland. His ambitious wife will do anything to support him in his plans of seizing power. So this movie is written and directed by Coen, and it stars Denzel Washington, Frances McDormand, and Alex Hassel. And before I get started giving you guys my spoiler-free thoughts on The Tragedy of Macbeth, let me know down below what you thought about this movie if you did check this out. And I just want to get into talking about this movie, and I really want to say that this movie is visually stunning, and I did see this at the movie theater. I saw it when it was in select theaters, and luckily it was one near my house, so I went to check it out, and I think seeing it in the big screen is the way to go. I don't know if it's still available at the movie theater, maybe check locally if it's available, but genuinely, I think this movie is really beautiful on the big screen. The cinematography in this movie is one of the best of the entire year, and I think one of the biggest parts about why this movie worked is the composition of characters, of props, of the sets. Everything in this movie is really thought out, and I think it almost looks like if it was a play. Obviously, this comes from the famous play by William Shakespeare. I feel like the set designers really just paid attention into its origins because it's beautiful. I feel like everything was intentional, and you could tell that everything, if a character was in one position, if the character had light shining on them, if the character was here, if the character was there, it was all thought out, and it wasn't just there to be artsy. Like, genuinely it worked, and I think that's one of the best things that I could honestly say about this movie. And I want to just give props to the cinematographer before we move on, Bruno Del Bonell. I just want to put so much praise in his name because genuinely, if I think this movie has any shots at any awards, it could be cinematography. I also was really surprised at how fictional this story almost got with the set design and the visual effects. And when I say that, I mean there's a lot of really cool scenes where it almost looks like they're floating in the stars and they're looking up and it's just a bunch of stars. And I think the black and white added to that because it just looks so magical in a lot of moments, especially when we were shown the night sky. I really enjoyed that. There were also some cool effects done with the witches that I enjoyed. There's one at the beginning that started the movie that I was just a really big fan of, and I was really happy the movie started off with that one. So there's a lot of good here to talk when it comes to the technical stuff, and I also want to praise the performances because I think they're pretty good. Denzel Washington stars as Macbeth. He's a really great actor, and I've never really seen him do anything bad so far, and I think in this one he's no different. He really paid attention to what the character was supposed to be, and he gave us that. And Frances McDormand was also really great. I honestly didn't know she was in the movie before I watched it. I only knew of Denzel Washington, and it was a nice surprise seeing her because I also think she's an actress that in every role that she's in, she absolutely kills it. And the supporting role was really great as well. I really enjoyed everybody in this movie. I think they all did what they were supposed to, but although I've talked a lot about what I like about this movie, and a lot of the stuff that I do like is very technical and performance-wise, I don't think this is my favorite version of Macbeth, and I will slightly say that I was a little bit disappointed by that. I was very excited for this because I love Macbeth. I am a huge fan of the story. We studied it in high school, but also I just really like the story. And I'm a really big fan of the movie Macbeth from, I think, 2015. I don't know what year it came out in, but that stars Michael Fassbender. I'm a really big fan of that movie, and if you definitely like Macbeth, I think that's another recommendation that I'll give you. And what I like about that movie is that I felt a lot of emotion with the characters, and I can't really say that about this movie. I just did not have an emotional connection to the characters or the story, and it affected my viewing experience a little bit just because I was watching this journey and I almost felt like I never had any moment. By the time the movie ended, I never even felt anything for anybody in the movie or any point in the plot, which is a real shame because I think Macbeth is a really great story to explore a lot of different emotions and themes, and I think the movie definitely explores them, but I also think it didn't get the reaction that I expected to have, if that makes any sense. And I don't know if this is just a personal thing, but to be honest, I just think it was a little bit flat in that aspect, which honestly disappointed me because I think when I go into seeing a movie, especially with a story like this one, I want to be emotionally captivated by it, and I just wasn't. And a lot of the times it just felt like the camera work, the direction, the set design was just moving these actors and characters around almost without emotion, without kind of figuring out how can we transcend ourselves into the audience. But I do want to go back to the positives, and I want to say the sound design of this movie is also really great. I think the score went well with so many scenes, and there are so many times where the droplets of water just make such a loud bang. It's very creative how it gets, and this is where I say that in the big screen it was really great, that I really enjoyed watching it because of the sound design. You just get fully immersed seeing it at the movie theater. Also, the runtime of this movie, I actually think this movie could have used a little bit more minutes in the runtime. It's fairly short for a story that has so much to tell, and I think they were able to tell it in an okay-ish way, like I've been saying, but I think the movie could have definitely used a couple of minutes, maybe 15 to 30 more minutes, because the movie flew by fast, which is very good. We always love that. I feel like sometimes these types of movies slow down, but this one I think just did a really good job at constantly just going. But with that, a lot of scenes that I thought were important were kind of brushed over or a little bit rushed, and that's where I think the runtime, the screenplay should have slowed down a little bit, given us a little bit more character moments so that we did care about what's going on, because I think when the plot gets going, it really gets going, but I kind of didn't really realize what we were happening. I didn't realize what was Macbeth's state of mind. I didn't really realize a lot of things that I think are important, and this is coming from someone that has read Macbeth, that understands the story, so I don't know how it might transcend to somebody that like doesn't know much about Macbeth and this is how they're going into it. But at the end of the day, I still think this is a movie worth checking out. I think if you love beautiful looking movies, this is one that you're going to appreciate. However, if you're looking to get attached to characters or just be captivated by it in a way that's not just the visuals, this one might be a little bit disappointing, but I still think it's one that people should check out. And if you have access to Apple TV Plus, I think definitely go for it because it's already on the streaming service. But I'd love to hear what you guys have to say if you haven't commented down below. Thank you guys so much for watching today's review. If you're not subscribed to my channel, make sure to subscribe for more movie reviews like this one, and make sure to like this video to let me know that you guys like reviews like this one, and I'll make sure to see you guys in the next video. Bye everyone!